I used to believe that if I loved my child deeply enough, she would one day learn to be grateful. But I never imagined the daughter I raised by my own hands would secretly buy me a large life insurance policy and plan to make my death look like an unfortunate accident during a so-called hiking trip. What she doesn't know is that I am the one who initiated the real plan. I sit at the edge of my bed, heart pounding like a drum in a silent hall. Early morning light drapes across the quilt, soft and false, just like her kindness. The memory of Lisa's smile as she handed me this glass of water chills my bones. Every drop she pours now carries the bitter taste of betrayal. I breathe, slow and steady. A faint creak in the hallway reminds me that she's moments away from discovering her mistake. Today, I set the stage. Today, the student outsmarts the teacher. And today, she learns that her mother is nobody's victim. My name is Vanessa, and I am 65 years old. I spent most of my life hunched over spreadsheets, crunching numbers for clients who never knew my name. I wed a kind man who adored me, and together we saved every spare penny for our future. When he passed away 7 years ago, the world softened into shades of gray. Widowhood taught me endurance, and accounting taught me precision. I am gentle by nature, careful with my words, yet beneath my soft tone lies a steel core of pride. I stand now in my living room, sunlight filtering through fabric curtains that flutter in the faint morning breeze. The floorboards beneath my slippers are cool and worn smooth by decades of footsteps. Polished wooden surfaces gleam. My grandmother's coffee table, the bookshelf heavy with ledgers and paperbacks, the antique clock whose steady tick marks the rhythm of my days. The air holds a faint aroma of brewing coffee and lavender polish, comforting smells that whisper of routine. A pale rug cushions the space between my armchair and the sofa, its edges fraying like the map of my own life. Lisa moves beside me, her footsteps soft against the rug. She bends to pour water into a highball glass, and I watch the liquid catch the light as it cascades. The gentle clink of glass against countertop is almost musical, but today it resonates with an undercurrent of dread. She offers me the glass with a warm, practiced smile, as though this small act of kindness could erase everything unspoken between us. The side of her blouse brushes my arm, and I feel the faint hum of tension threading through my veins. Her hair, tied back in a sleek ponytail, sways as she straightens. I see the lines in her brow as she glances at me, expecting gratitude. My hand wraps around the cool glass, and I lift it to my lips, tasting nothing but the crisp purity of water and the bitterness of fear. Those clear droplets are tainted by the knowledge that she believes I might die soon enough for her to profit. I swallow deeply, fighting the urge to wince, to shatter the calm she's so carefully constructed. Behind me, the bookshelf holds our history, framed photographs of our happier years, brittle yellow letters from a long-ago bank congratulating us on a milestone, a faded map of Paris where we honeymooned. A hidden compartment sits concealed behind a row of dusty Bibles, my private trove of investments and contracts. It's a treasure she could never imagine, because I never spoke of it. My heart quickens as I recall the safe's cold steel and the soft click of its lock. I inhale the scent of old paper and polished mahogany, steadying myself. My pulse hammers in my ears with the same rhythm the clock pounds out. Tick, tock, unforgiving, unrelenting. I sit heavily in my armchair, fingertips resting on the carved armrest. In this familiar sanctuary, I feel both vulnerable and empowered. Every cushion, every piece of furniture, every framed memory has borne witness to my sacrifices. Long hours at the office, lonely nights poring over tax returns, years of scrimping to build something secure for both of us. Lisa steps back, smoothing the front of her blouse. "Thanks, Mom," she says, voice casual but edged. She tucks a lock of hair behind her ear, glancing at the coffee table where her keys lie in neat alignment. I notice how she arranges everything into corners and straight lines, a subconscious mirror of her desire for control. I watch her as she crosses to the window, peering out. The apartment building across the street basks in golden morning light, its brick walls warm and reassuring. Beyond that, trees sway gently, promising fresh air and possibility. The world outside seems innocent, untouched by distrust. And yet I know better now. Betrayal sometimes hides behind the softest facade. I set the glass down and feel the faint tremor in my fingers. The polished surface reflects my face, lined, resolute, unbowed. My chest swells with a sudden clarity. I did not raise a daughter to plot my downfall. I taught her kindness, perseverance, integrity. That lesson will not fade with age. A distant siren wails, and I let its echo carry away my hesitation. I rise from the armchair, the weight of my years grounding me. My reflection in the window shows a woman who has weathered many storms and refuses to be broken. The living room around me, once a haven, now feels like the stage for the reckoning to come. I clear my throat softly. Lisa turns, surprised at my stillness. For a moment, I hold her gaze, steady, unflinching. The innocence of her morning routine shatters against the steel in my eyes. She realizes, before I speak a word, that something fundamental has shifted. Beneath the gentle light and the polished wood, beneath the hum of the refrigerator and the scent of lavender, a silent vow takes shape in my heart. I will no longer be the quiet accountant who blends into the background. I will no longer be the frail figure receiving water from unsteady hands. This apartment, these memories, they belong to me as much as to her. I give her a short, controlled nod. "Thank you, Lisa," I say, voice calm yet firm. "That was very thoughtful." She smiles, unaware of the storm gathering behind my composed facade. And as the morning sun climbs higher, I prepare to reveal the truth that will change everything. I linger in the living room long after Lisa retreats to her bedroom. The echo of her footsteps fades, but the sting of her words lingers like a sour aftertaste. I rise and move to the coffee table, where her apartment keys still gleam under the morning light. Each key seems to mock me, an invitation to leave, a silent verdict on my right to stay. I settle back into the armchair, glass of water in hand, and let my gaze travel across the room. The polished wood, the soft rug, the faded photographs, all of it feels tainted now. My chest tightens. I feel the familiar rise of anger, but I quell it. Anger would make me reckless. Instead, I focus on every detail, the way the sunlight slants through the curtains, the faint hum of the refrigerator, the soft tick of the clock. I catalog each sound, each sensation, as if anchoring myself in reality. A sudden knock at the door jolts me. Lisa stands there, arms folded, the water bill clutched in one hand. Her posture is rigid, her lips pursed. I lift my glass and sip, savoring the coolness against my tongue. When I set it down, she steps inside without waiting for my invitation. "Mom," she begins, voice tight, "we need to talk about these expenses." She waves the water bill like a smoldering ember. "You've finished this entire bottle of water already. That's nearly a month's worth of water bill. I don't know how much you've been saving all this time." Her words cut deeper than any blade. I look at her calmly, meeting her gaze. "I drink when I'm thirsty," I reply evenly, "and I've always paid my share of the bills." She scoffs and tosses the bill onto the coffee table. The paper slides, landing beside an old family photo, me and her on her 5th birthday, both of us grinning. Now the same table carries proof of my supposed extravagance. I inhale slowly, feeling the walls close in. The air tastes dry, spiced with tension. Lisa's eyes narrow. "You're retired now. You don't contribute anything to this family. Your husband and I work so hard. Do you think you're entitled to just lounge around and drink as much water as you like?" She crosses her arms, leaning against the doorframe. The wood creaks under her weight. I stand and close the gap between us. At 65, I still carry myself straight, not from vanity, but from habit. Years of walking tall through boardrooms and balance sheets. "I've earned my rest," I say quietly. "Your father and I saved for my retirement. Everything I've used has been accounted for, legally and fairly." Her lips curl into a dismissive smile. Accounted for? Then why do I get these bills that keep climbing? Maybe if you cut back, I wouldn't have to worry. She jerks her head toward the hallway, where her keys glint again. Maybe you could look for somewhere else to live for a while. She lays the keys on the coffee table with deliberate force. The clatter echoes, startling me. I taste blood in my mouth, my own anger threatening to break free, but I control it, clinging to the calm reserve I cultivated over decades. As she turns to leave, her voice hardens. And Mom, I already told you. I bought a life insurance policy on you, $100,000 payable to me. Someday that payout will be mine. You wouldn't want to live too long, right? Her final words hang in the air, heavy as lead. My breath catches. The soft hum of the refrigerator seems to drone in protest. I press my hand against my chest, feeling my heart pound. A wave of nausea threatens to overtake me, but I force it down. I will not break here. Not now. Lisa's retreating footsteps bounce off the hallway walls. I remain motionless, water glass in hand, watching her disappear. The click of her bedroom door closing is deafening. Once she's gone, the room feels cavernous, swallowed by silence. I set the glass aside, rise, and walk to the window. The city beyond drifts by without concern, cars humming, birds chirping, the distant murmur of life. It all feels so ordinary, so untouched by cruelty. And yet, beneath that veneer of normality, cruelty festers. My fingers brush against the smooth wood of the window frame. I close my eyes and draw in a measured breath. Memories flood back. Late nights at the office, the day my husband died, the solo trips to the bank to shuffle funds into accounts in my name alone. All sacrifices made quietly, without fanfare, so that when my time came, I would be secure. I open my eyes. The skyline is a jagged silhouette against the pale sky. I feel a surge of resolve. She thinks she holds the leverage. Water bills, chores, insurance policies. She underestimates one thing: her mother's capacity for planning. I turn from the window and stride toward the bookshelf. My pulse steadies into a determined rhythm. 2 steps later, I reach the row of Bibles and self-help tomes. I press against the 5th volume from the left, and the shelf swings inward with a soft click. The hidden safe waits behind it, its steel door sealed. My fingertips brush the cool metal. I take another breath, listening for any hint that Lisa might return. The corridor outside is quiet. I spin the dial with practiced ease. Right, left, right. The lock yields with a final click. Inside, bathed in shadow, lie the evidence of my true independence. Bank passbooks with 6-figure balances, deeds to a rental property downtown, stock certificates bearing my name in bold type, and a premium bank card with funds I never disclosed to a soul. I slip a hand inside and lift the papers one by one, feeling the weight of decades of quiet diligence. My lips curl into a faint, fierce smile. Let her think the payout is hers. Let her savor the thought of my demise into her palm. What she doesn't know is that the real windfall belongs to me, and it always has. I close the safe and press the shelf back into place, heart steady, mind clear. The clock ticks on. Outside, the world continues, blissfully unaware of the reckoning poised within these walls. I tuck the documents into my purse and smooth my blouse. My reflection in the mirror by the door shows a woman composed, unbroken. The confrontation is not yet over. In fact, it's only just begun. And when I return to the living room, I will no longer be the passive recipient of her scorn. I will be the architect of my own fate. Now, when she next steps into this room, she will find a mother transformed, stronger, wiser, and far richer than she ever dreamed. I slip silently into my study, the door clicking shut behind me. The hush is complete. No hum of traffic, no distant voices, only the soft whisper of the curtains brushing against the window. My fingers find the hidden latch beneath the framed painting, and I push. The shelf swings open, revealing the steel safe nestled in shadow. My pulse quickens at the familiar sight. I haven't touched these shelves in years, not since my husband's last birthday. Now, the safe holds more than memories. It holds my independence. The dial shines dull silver in the lamplight. I cradle my palm against its cool surface, drawing strength from its solidity. With deliberate patience, I spin. Right, left, right, the numbers clicking under my fingertips. Each click echoes in the still air, a steady cadence that soothes my nerves. At the final turn, the lock gives a soft sigh and releases. The safe door swings inward on silent hinges, and I inhale the faint, reassuring scent of lacquered steel mingling with old paper. Inside, everything lies exactly as I left it. Neatly stacked leather-bound passbooks, crisp stock certificates tied with a silver ribbon, property deeds embossed with my name, and a black binder labeled Retirement Portfolio in my husband's unmistakable handwriting. I run my thumb over the edge of the binder, recalling the day he insisted I author it myself. "For your peace of mind," he said, voice gentle yet firm. Peace of mind. How tiny those words seem now, weighed against the years of silent sacrifice and the coldness of my daughter's betrayal. I lift the passbooks first, feeling the grain of leather under my fingertips. The oldest one, dated almost 20 years ago, holds a modest balance, enough to comfort a newlywed accountant and his young wife. With each successive book, the numbers climb: savings from tax refunds, dividends from blue-chip stocks, rental income from a two-flat I bought in a modest neighborhood. I spread them across my desk, the pages fanning out like a deck of cards revealing a winning hand. When I flip to the last entry in the final book, the figure sears into my mind, nearly $500,000. My breath catches. $500,000. Money I never mentioned, never flaunted, never spent on myself beyond the necessities. The realization roars through me. I have always held the power to shape my destiny. I close my fist around a passbook, heart pounding, and feel the solidity of truth. Next, I unfasten the silver ribbon from the stack of stock certificates. The paper is thick, scented faintly of ink and possibility. I fan them out, each one bearing the name of a company I vetted and trusted: a small tech firm, a renewable energy co-op, a steady pharmaceutical giant. I gaze at the elegant script of my name underneath each seal. With every certificate, a memory surfaces: the research nights in front of my laptop, the cautious phone calls to brokers, the exhilaration when dividends rolled in. Quiet triumphs, never spoken aloud, now laid bare before me. I stack the certificates beside the passbooks, then reach for the property deeds. They are crisp, official, stamped with county seals and notarized signatures. One deed names me and my late husband as co-owners of a brownstone rental property 2 towns over, an investment we made when land was cheap and opportunity abundant. The rent roll sheet tucked inside shows tenants paying on time, the building's value appreciating year after year. The second deed covers a small strip mall in a growing suburb, purchased under my maiden name for discretion. Tenants include a bakery, a dry cleaner, a florist. Combined, the monthly income from these holdings covers more than a modest retirement, enough to underwrite a small empire. A thrill of vindication surges through me. This is the real policy I hold against the world, a declaration that I answer to no one. My daughter's life insurance machinations pale in comparison. I close my eyes and let my chest swell with quiet pride. Every late-night analysis, every frugal meal skipped, every tax form filed with unwavering accuracy, it all contributed to this mountain of security and freedom. I gather the documents in my arms, their weight comforting. Papers rustle softly as I slide them into my leather tote. The sound fills the small room, a whisper of promise. I straighten and plant my feet firmly on the parquet floor, feeling roots grow from the heels of my slippers into the wood. I stand taller in that moment than I have in years, no longer bowed by age or by loss. Outside the study door, I hear faint movement, perhaps a creak of the building settling or the soft scrape of a chair. My senses sharpen. I press my hand flat against the cool wall beside the door, then slip out. The hallway light is dim, casting gentle shadows that dance across the patterned carpet. I move with deliberate stealth, every step measured, my breath even. When I pass the living room threshold, I pause and let the door close behind me with a soft click. Inside, the air is heavy with unease. The coffee table holds her keys and that water bill, still mocking me. The rug seems muted, the sofa stretched in anxious anticipation. I breathe in the familiar scents, lavender polish, brewing coffee, and exhale slowly, steadying my resolve. In my purse rests the truth, the evidence of decades of silent labor, the proofs of my autonomy. I slide into the armchair, positioning myself so I can see the doorway. My heart thuds, but my voice will not waver. The papers rest on my lap like a shield. Each contract, each deed, each bank record is a declaration. I am wealthier than she will ever know, and stronger than she dared to imagine. My mind races through possibilities. Do I challenge her directly? Do I reveal everything at once, or nibble at the edges until her confidence crumbles? The accountant in me weighs outcomes with precision, but the woman I've become craves a moment of pure, illuminating confrontation, one that will empty the room of pity and pride alike. I flex my fingers around the edge of the binder and lift it onto the coffee table, letting the stack of documents spread out in neat, impossible order. The telltale click of each paper settling echoes in the hush. I sit back and let my gaze settle on the array. Here lies my redemption. And her reckoning. A muted knock rings at the apartment door. Lisa's voice drifts through. "Mom? Are you okay in there?" Concern threads her tone, but I know what she truly wonders. Will I leave? Will I break? I close my eyes for a heartbeat, feeling the weight of every sacrifice that brought me here. Then I rise, shoulders straight, and cross to the door. The quiet strength in my step surprises even me. I press my ear to the wood for a moment. No hesitation. I turn the knob and open it. Her eyes widen at the sight of the documents splayed across the coffee table. The water bill lies in their midst like a discarded scrap. Lisa blinks, confusion warping her features. I step aside, arms open, inviting her into the room she thought she controlled. I don't speak immediately. I don't need to. The papers speak for me, in bold ink and raised seals. She sees it in her daughter's face. The life she planned for me was irrelevant. I hold her gaze, calm and unyielding. And in that electric silence, she knows everything has changed. I step into the living room, documents in hand, and feel the air shift, thickening with anticipation. Lisa stands by the window, back turned, watching the street below. Her silhouette trembles against the pale light. I move with quiet purpose, each footfall a drumbeat of inevitability. The curtains sway slightly as I pass. Their fabric whispers secrets I intend to expose. At the coffee table, I set my leather tote down. It lands with a soft thud that seems to echo. I unzip it and withdraw the stack of passbooks first, laying them in a precise fan. Next, the stock certificates, their pale parchment gleaming. Finally, the property deeds, stiff and authoritative. The pile grows like a mountain of truth. I withdraw my phone and set it beside the papers, screen glowing in readiness. Lisa spins at the sound. Her eyes widen as she takes in the spread, rows of figures, columns of dividends, seals and signatures. Her breath catches in a sharp intake. I close the distance between us, moving so deliberately she cannot ignore the storm gathering in my gaze. "Lisa," I say, voice soft but carrying across the room. "Do you recognize these?" She swallows, voice barely a whisper. "Mom, I raise a hand to forestall her apology. "Let me finish," I say. My pulse drums behind my ribs, but my tone remains steady, unwavering. "These are the assets I've accumulated since the day your father died. $500,000 in stocks, real estate, and savings. Enough to secure my entire future, without relying on anyone else. The room hums with tension. I hear the faint click of the fridge door opening, then closing. Outside, a car door slams, a bird chirps. These ordinary sounds feel jarring against the weight of my revelation. Lisa's shoulders sag. She steps forward, fingertips brushing one passbook. I had no idea. Her voice cracks. I nod once, slow and precise. You never asked. I never told. But that was my choice. I wanted you to believe I depended on you out of love, not necessity. I let the words settle between us like stones. She crouches to pick up a certificate, clutching it to her chest, as though it might disappear if she releases it. Her eyes fill with tears. I'm so sorry, Mom. I was wrong to think of you as a burden. I sink into the armchair and beckon her over with a calm gesture. Sit with me, I say. She hesitates, then settles on the sofa, certificate trembling in her lap. The coffee table wood presses cold against my fingertips as I lean forward. My concern wasn't the water bill, I continue. It was that you reduced our relationship to expenses and benefits. You treated me as a line item to manage, and then you bought a life insurance policy on me, as though you viewed my death as a financial asset. She bows her head, shoulders shaking. I feel a pang of sorrow beneath my anger. Tell me, I say quietly, what would you feel if someone you loved took out a policy on you without telling you, counting down the days until you were gone? Her gaze lifts, haunted. Hurt, she whispers. Betrayed. I nod. Exactly. So I'm canceling your policy right now. I pick up my phone, unlock it, and dial the insurer's number. Each tone crackles in the hush. Lisa watches, breath shallow as I speak. I'd like to cancel policy number 27-42-0193. The beneficiary is my daughter, Lisa Harper, who is no longer to receive any benefit. Please send written confirmation of policy termination and any refund to my address at 214 Elm Street, apartment 3B. Thank you. I end the call and set the phone down. There is a momentary silence, then a crisp click as the company confirms the cancellation. I allow myself a small, triumphant smile. Lisa's lips quiver. She reaches for my hand. Thank you, she says, voice breaking. I don't know how to make this right. I squeeze her hand gently. Start by understanding what it means to honor someone's life instead of betting on their death. I pause, gathering my next words carefully. I raised you to be better than that, to see people, especially your family, as more than transactions. Tears spill down her cheeks. She leans forward and embraces me, trembling. I hold her close, feeling her remorse and relief mingled like rain on parched earth. When she pulls back, I stand and begin to gather the documents. I tuck the passbooks back into my tote, slide the certificates into their folder, and replace the deeds with deliberate care. Each item returns to the bag as if it belongs there, because it does. Lisa watches, silent, her expression raw. I fold the insurance confirmation letter and slip it into my purse. The weight of it is light compared to years of unseen labors repaid. I turn to the coffee table and pick up the water bill, now ridiculously small among the piles of contracts and titles. I crumple it between my fingers until it's a ball of worthless paper. I toss it into the wastebasket, where it lands with a hollow thunk. I look at Lisa. My voice is calm, resolute. This apartment is mine as much as it is yours, but our agreement has changed. I retrieve her keys from the table and hold them out. If you want me to stay, you'll respect my independence. If not, well, I have options. She swallows and steps forward to take the keys. Mom, please, I'm so sorry. She clasps my hand again. I want you here, with me. I fold her keys into her palm. Then let this be our new beginning. My heart lightens at her relief, but I remain mindful of the lesson learned. I sling my tote over my shoulder. The leather is warm against my coat. I feel its reassuring weight, a silent testament to my self-sufficiency. Lisa rises and follows me to the door. I open it and pause, framing the hallway in my vision. Afternoon light slants in, casting long shadows on the carpet. I step out first and turn back. I am not a burden, I say softly, voice carrying down the corridor. I am my own person. Lisa stands in the threshold, eyes brimming. She nods, understanding dawning. I'll never doubt you again, she promises. I close the door gently behind me. The safe hums with hidden power. The apartment bears the echoes of our confrontation. Ahead, the hallway stretches toward the entrance lobby, where life awaits unchanged by our revelations. As I walk, each step feels lighter, freer. The sturdy walls that once felt confining now cradle my confidence. I tilt my chin up and breathe deeply, the scent of lavender polish mingling with my quiet triumph. I am not a burden. I can stand on my own. And you, if you discovered someone had taken out a life insurance policy on you, what would you do? I pause at the lobby doors, hand resting on the polished brass handle. Light spills in from the street, promising new beginnings. Subscribe if you've ever had to prove your worth on your own terms. Comment below to share your story of standing tall when others counted you out.